So proximity pickup. Okay, what is proximity pickup? So mainly the proximity pickup transducers used for inductive and detects the inductive proximity pickup transducers. Mainly since it is inductive, it mainly detects the ferrous materials. Okay, ferrous materials. So mainly used for ferrous materials, that is metallic components. So non-metallic, this also detect metallic with higher dielectric capacity. So the metals having high dielectric, that is the dielectric strength epsilon. So this is for capacitive type of inductive sensors. Basically, both the inductive and capacitive transducers having these important modules, stages. Okay, if you understand what is sensor head, what is oscillator, what is the operation of demodulator and trigger circuit, then we can easily understand, and we can also design the inductive proximity pickup. So you people are mostly interested in robotic design. So in robotic design, to sense the object, nearby object, the robo, you can have this type of proximity sensors. Okay, proximity sensors. So first we see about inductive proximity sensor. Okay, so what is the main application in the sensor module? Okay, sensor module. What is in the sensor module? The sensor, this is sensor head. This is made up of ferrite material. The winding is wound over the ferrite material. So this is ferrite material. F means ferrite material. So this also ferrite material. But there are two type of sensor head we can design. One is unshielded, then shielded. So what are the parts of this? Is the electromagnetic field generated by the sensor head. So the winding is wound around the ferrite core. The ferrite core is this shape. Here, this is all winding. This is winding. This is shield. This is the difference between unshielded and shielded. This is shield. Okay, shield. So this is a magnetic field generated by the sensor head. Okay, so we can take the wire from this for lead connections. So two wire for lead connections. So lead wires. Similarly, here we can take from the coil, you can take two lead wires. So this is magnetic. What is the major difference between these two? So we can classify based on the construction of the core, just the construction of the core. So here you see the magnetic field generated by the unshielded sensor head. So it is like this. Okay, that means this can sense in the side object also. That is the side sensitivity is available with this unshielded. Whereas shielded is only for bundle. It will sense only the directional objects. So the objects opposed to the field. The major advantage of unshielded is this range can be large. Mostly this unshielded type of sensor head is used in the industry. So these two terminals we can connect to the next stage. This is sensor head stage. Next is oscillator. Our oscillator is nothing but a tank circuit. Okay, tank. You know, tank means tank circuit means one inductor in parallel with a capacitor. So that is called a tank circuit. So inductor in parallel with the capacitor. So this is tank circuit. We are in the tank circuit, we are replacing this inductor coil with the sensor head. So we can connect sensor head by replacing this. This can be connected to this tank circuit is developed with connected to a closed loop op-amp circuit. Closed loop op-amp circuit. This is connected to non-inverting terminal of the op-amp. Okay, this tank circuit is connected to non-inverting op-amp. So this is the typical picture of this is the this is your EC, that is electrical, that is here. I will tell you this electromagnetic field generated by the ferrite. This is core with the ferrite. This is the model replaced by the shielded and unshielded coil. So the coil with the ferrite. Since this coil with ferrite, the metallic object is neighboring towards this. There will be in the metal, there will be an eddy current is generated. So eddy current is generated. So because of this electromagnetic field generated by the coil, the eddy current is generated. So that the eddy current plays a vital role in the development of oscillator. Let us see. The inductive circuit, the tank circuit is connected to op-amp configuration. In the tank circuit is connected to non-inverting terminal of the op-amp. So once you switch on the power of the circuit, so the power flows in the op-amp circuitry. So that generates current. That current flows in the sensor head. Flows through the sensor head. So the electromagnetic field generates. So as the metal object away from the sensor head, there is no more oscillation is developed. When the metal object is approaching towards the sensor head, see, I will explain. This is sensor head connected to oscillator circuitry. So there are 4 stages. Say oscillator, then demodulator, then triggering stage, then output stage. So the sensor head here, inductive proximity pickup, we are having 2 types of sensor head, shielded and unshielded type. So when there is no object nearing the sensor head, more oscillation is generated, more oscillations generated by the oscillator. So when the metal object or any other objects, sorry, basically the ferrous metals objects are approaching towards the sensor head, it suppresses the oscillation. Okay, when the object is on the sensor head, think like this: when the object is on the sensor head, there won't be any oscillations at all. So using this oscillation frequency of the oscillator, we can detect the range of the sensor. Okay, so when current is generated from the oscillator, flows through the sensor head, the resonant frequency generates. That oscillation frequency range from 100 Hz to 1 megahertz. So that oscillation frequency, based on the frequency, we can have the detection of distance. So it is used for the measurement of distance. Normally, the proximity pickup sensors use the distance measuring device as well as detectors. It is used as a detector. The distance measuring is from 2 mm to 16 mm, only 1.6 centimeter. 2 mm to 16 mm with high accuracy. Okay, that's why normally we use this type of pickup in the field. Let us see how the connections are available, how the each stage. So this is your oscillator stage. This is sensor head. Okay, so the tank circuit is like can have a capacitor in parallel with the sensor head. So inductive. This is L. This is C. So this is a tank circuit. So this tank circuit is connected to non-inverting terminal of the op-amp. Also the feedback with the feedback resistor. And this op-amp is designed for closed loop configuration. This loop is closed loop, feedback loop. Actually, the top side, this top side is plus supply. The bottom is ground supply. Say this is and have this. So this is grounded. This is plus VCC plus. So the op-amp is, this is op-amp. So this op-amp is energized by plus VCC and ground, not minus VCC. We normally think of that op-amp plus VCC minus VCC. That is not correct. Based on our application, based on our output, we can energize the op-amp. So here we apply ground to minus 4, that is 4 pin terminal 4 plus VCC plus 12, say plus 12 to the 7th pin of the op-amp. So this is LC, this LC1, you can have LC1, say this is resistance R1. So you can describe the circuit description, you can make a description. R1 is the close to the feedback path resistor. The R2 and R3 are the resistors used in the closed loop configuration, R2, R3. So when the sensor, when object approaches the, say here, the sensor head, when the object approaches away from the sensor head, you see this is the oscillations. This place is sensor is away from the sensor, sorry, object away from the sensor head. As the sensor head the sorry. So as when the object is away from the sensor head, our oscillations will be more. As the object, metal object approaches near to the sensor head, the oscillation suppresses. So say this stage, this period, object is very near, at least on the sensor head. So during the metal object on the sensor head here, so the oscillations completely suppress. So when the object is away from the sensor head, this oscillator circuit oscillates with the resonant frequency. As I already told you, based on the displacement distance, the oscillations vary. Okay, so this is the operation of your oscillator circuit in the front end, the sensor head. Next is this is demodulator stage. The demodulator is very simple. We are using one diode and resistance and capacitance to filter out the unwanted noise. So a resistor and a capacitor. So this circuit is nothing but a demodulator stage. This is demodulator. This is oscillator stage. Oscillator stage. This is demodulator. Say here R1, R2, R3. You can name here. This is diode D1. This is R4. You can say C2 because already one C is in tank circuit. So this is C2. So the demodulator stage consists of diode and resistor and capacitor. So what is the purpose of this demodulator? The demodulator converts the AC oscillation into modulated DC. Converts modulated DC, not DC. Modulated DC means just this is called modulated DC. It converts AC into modulated DC. Just okay. So when there is it converts the oscillation, the modulation into a DC, modulated DC. Okay. So this is our modulator output. So when the modulator output is connected to this stage, do you know what is this symbol? Sorry, I didn't give power supply connection to this. Okay. Okay, let us give power supply connection here. You know what is the operation? What is the symbol of this? This is already I explained in the previous class. This is called Schmitt trigger. Okay, Schmitt trigger. So what is the operation of Schmitt trigger? The Schmitt trigger normally has two levels. Okay, upper triggering point and lower triggering point. So based on the input, the output of the Schmitt trigger generates. Okay. So when there is no object is present in front of the say sensor head, more oscillations. So the more oscillations is converted into DC. So when the object is nearing the sensor head, the demodulator output goes decreasing. So this region is the demodulator output is decreasing. Okay, so decreasing the demodulator output. When the decreasing the voltage, okay, decreasing the voltage is given to the Schmitt trigger. The Schmitt trigger output also goes to low level. Okay, you see when the demodulator goes decreasing here, when decreasing this is the Schmitt trigger output. It goes to low level. Okay, goes to low level. When the demodulator is in high level, it gives high level only. Okay, but it is not detectable. So it is in high level. So when the demodulator decreases the voltage, the Schmitt trigger goes low. So since the output of the Schmitt trigger is low, we can trigger the output using NPN transistor. Okay, NPN transistor. So you can give connection to the next stage. This is output stage. This is output stage. Okay. Here we can have some protective circuits here. Here we can present one more diode. You can connect one diode. This diode you should be in this direction. The purpose of this diode is to prevent damage. So from the power supply only it should allow the current to the circuit. If any negative current from the circuit, it won't allow. So this is a protective diode. So here this diode is modulated diode, demodulated diode. This diode is for protective diode, say D2. So protective diode. So also we are having one more protective device called RTD. RTD in the emitter circuit. So this is RTD. What is the purpose of RTD? If current is large, RTD resistance increases. So this is RTD, resistive temperature detector resistance. Mostly RTD and thermistors are used in the motor field and power protection field. So if suppose current is increasing, the RTD resistance also increases, so that it will allow, it won't allow the devices connected in this circuit. It will protect the circuit because of increasing the resistance. So you know, as current increases, I square R, the resistance, okay, the loss also increases. So this is a Zener. This is a Zener diode. This diode is used to regulate the voltage across the output. So this is the output. So this is the output connection. So, having a load resistor in the collector side, and so this is the LED, not diode. This is LED. This LED is the indication of output. This is output. Here I connected a hooter. Hooter is nothing but like a speaker. When the object is nearing the sensor head, here, when the object is nearing the sensor head, suppose if we set the set point, the moment it reaches the object, it reaches the distance, the hooter will generate sound. Okay, that is the operation of inductive proximity pickup. It will generate sound, or you can connect any automatic switch off or shutdown system here. Okay, whatever you want to connect across T1 and T2. This is for output circuit. So here the transistor, the NPN transistor, you used as it's a switch, like a switch, current control switch. Okay, when the demodulator output is decreasing here, demodulator output is decreasing, the shimmy trigger goes low. You see, the shimmy trigger goes low. When the low voltage biasing to the NPN, this transistor, so what happened? What happened? It will conduct. Okay, it will conduct. So that's why we use this transistor. So when low voltage is biasing with the transistor, so this will conduct. So power flows in this circuit. Okay, power flows to this circuit. So this is, you can have a load resistor here, so that you can limit the current in this circuit, because the LED will burn. Okay, the LED current is maximum 20 milliampere. So this is RL. You can have R4, this RTD, this is RL, this R5. You can have this resistor R5. This is the circuit. Okay. So when sensor head detects the object, that object is nearer to the sensor head, oscillation suppresses. So demodulator gives low voltage when the object is on the sensor head. The shimmy trigger, because of this lower decreasing voltage applied to shimmy trigger, this bias, the lower voltage bias this transistor. So the transistor simply conducts the allows the current flows through the circuit. So there will be a positive generate across these two terminals. So ground and this, as even though we apply a plus VCs here in the terminal 3, so T1 is ground, T2 is output. This is out. This acts as the output terminal, because we are getting the maximum output across this. So we connect the output hooter or any detector or any indicator across T1 and T2. Same concept. If the object is away, so you see this is decreasing. When the moment the object is moving away from the sensor head. The oscillation again starts. So oscillation again starts. It reaches the resonance frequency. So when the demodulator increases, the increasing voltage is applied to the Schmitt trigger. So that due to that increasing output, the Schmitt trigger goes high. Okay, Schmitt trigger goes high. When this is high, the high voltage biasing not respond with the transistor, pin transistor. So there won't be any output. So zero output available at that stage. So there is no indication available from the output as well as your LED. So this is LED for indication of switch on, switch off the output. Okay, understand or not? This is the operation of inductive proximity pickup transducer. Very, very important. Okay, I will explain this operation simply with the diagram. See, this is the diagram. So this is the sensor head. Sensor head. Say, consider this is sensor head. This is object. This is object. This is sensor head. Sensor probe. So this represents the object position. You see here object is away from the sensor head, little bit nearing, then little bit nearing. Here these two stages, object is on the sensor head. So you just realize this is the positions of various positions of object and sensor head. This is your demodulation stage, demodulator output. Based on the positions, various positions, the demodulator generates. As it is moving towards this, so demodulator output is decreasing. So since decreasing the demodulator, sorry, this is oscillator. Since the object is nearing, the demodulator is decreasing. Because of decreasing voltage applied to Schmitt trigger, the Schmitt trigger triggers to lower voltage level. Okay, when if the demodulator starts increasing, the Schmitt trigger will give output. We can represent like this also, no problem. So two levels of voltage is available across the Schmitt trigger based on the input. So up to when the demodulator output is high, this is at the very high level, the Schmitt trigger also maintains high voltage. When start decreasing, it goes low. Okay, goes low. So this is Schmitt trigger stage, triggering stage. This is the demodulator stage. This is the oscillator output. This is the output. Since the Schmitt trigger output is low, it is biasing the PN transistor so that the output is positive. We get output positive across the terminal T1 and T2. So this is simple description of inductive proximity sensor. Same concept, except the oscillator stage. All the modules are same. Okay, we are going to change only the probe, sensor probe, and the output stage. Except the intermediate three stages are same. Okay, that is applicable for capacitive proximity pickup. So in the examinations, briefly described inductive proximity pickup transducer with neat diagram, okay, and the operation. So you can simply explain the various stages with the typical outputs. Next is capacitive proximity pickup. So when object approaches, dielectric constant of the capacitance changes. So the changes the dielectric capacitance changes the increase the oscillator frequency, which activates the sensor output. Okay, so this capacitive proximity pickup, you know why I am saying about the dielectric, the basic, with the help of basic, C equal to epsilon A by D. So here by maintaining A and D constant, we are varying only we are deducting the dielectric constant of the material, the object which is approaching the sensor head. Okay, so here sensor head is made up of a capacitor, capacitive plates, two electrodes, two parallel plates capacitor. Based on the arrangement of the construction of the sensor head, the field, the oscillator frequency, the oscillation field will be generated. So it detects all the objects that are having good conductors with conductors, insulators. Any material we can detect with the capacitive proximity sensor. With the especially for with the materials having larger dielectric constant. Lesser dielectric constant materials can't detect by the capacitive transducer. So these are simple materials we can detect using proximity pickup, plastic, glass, water, moisture, wood. Then a few more can be have mica, plywood. Okay, mica is having some dielectric value. Similarly, you can also detect using quartz type of materials. So you can detect quartz material because quartz is having 3.5 dielectric constant value of 3.5. So the capacitive proximity pickup ranges from 2 mm to 16 mm. Actually, the range depends on the physical construction of the sensor, physical size of the material, as well as the dielectric constant of the material. So depend on the dielectric constant and the physical structure of the object, the range can be extended or decreased. So the dielectric constants more than 1.2 can be easily detected by this type of proximity pickup. Let us see the construction. So this is the sensor probe, similar to inductive sensor head, but here only two type of materials. How the field, the oscillation is affected by the non-conductive and conductive materials. Okay, in the non-conductive material with large dielectric, the oscillation. Okay, this improves the dielectric. The object improves the dielectric. Okay, so the dielectric. Here, see, this is the equivalent circuit of this probe. So A plus, I will tell you. So this is positive, A plus, this plate and this plate, B minus. So B minus. So when the non-conductive material approaching the probe, the capacitance probe, it improves the dielectric field. Okay. Similarly, in the conductive material, say if we place a conductive material, when the conductive material approaches the probe, the two electric, this is all two electrodes of the capacitor. When the conductive material is placed, say this is plus and minus, when we say these electrodes made up of metals, okay, the capacitive electrodes made up of metals only. So here this dielectric is a non-conductive material, so this improves the dielectric, that's all. But here when we place a conductive material, metal, say metal, when we place metal near to the electrodes, it generates that the metal plate acts as a capacitor. So that means there is a capacitance between these two plates. So between this electrode and this metal plate, there is a capacitor. Say let us C1. Similarly, between this C1, the metal and this electrode creates C1. So it increases the capacitance value. So when metal is introduced in front of the sensor head, so the capacitance, since it acts as a metal, there is a increase in capacitance. So two capacitors form between the electrodes. So this enhances the sensitivity of the probe. So this is about the sensor head design. Okay. See, this is two electrodes, A plus, this A plus, that is plus, this is B minus, two electrodes. So you see here, I'll tell you. You see, you see here, when the electrode is like a parallel plate, the polarization is in this direction. That is polarization of between the two electrodes. When the electrodes mounted in this shape, so this is the electrode, this based on electrode mounting. So when the electrode is at an inclination, so the dielectric strength, the field, okay, the oscillation field generates in this direction. When the electrodes are placed in parallel, not parallel, in the collinear, in the same level. So like this, okay. So the polarization in this field. So depend on the position of the electrodes, we can have different forms of field. Okay. So this is the sensor probe for capacitive transducer. Again, this is oscillator state. Same oscillator with the positive feedback. Sorry, here this is the capacitor should be connected to inverting terminal. This is positive terminal. Here plus, here minus. Okay. So one resistance R and C in series with the capacitance probe. These are electrodes, two electrodes. So this is R1, consider R1. This is used to protect the capacitive probe. So you can have a resistance and a capacitance. So this is C1. C1 is the probe capacitance, R1, C2, R2. So see the difference between previous oscillator and this oscillator. So yeah, this is same the closed loop configuration with the negative feedback. This oscillator with negative feedback. The previous one is with the positive feedback. So R2, say you can have, this is R3. This is R3. This is R4. Okay, so when there is no object, no voltage is generated by the oscillator. Okay, that is zero voltage. When the object is away from the sensor head is here. So object is away from the sensor head, no oscillations. You see, this is the region where the object is not present at all. So that is the object. When the object is away from the sensor head, no oscillations generated by the oscillator. So when the object approaches nearing the sensor head, the oscillations generated. So this is the oscillation generated as nearing, when the object is nearing. Then when the object is on the sensor head, more resonance frequency generates in the capacitive probe. So except this, other things are this diode D1. This is the demodulator oscillator stage. Demodulator stage. This is triggering stage, that is shimmer trigger stage, triggering stage. This is output stage. Remaining things are same. Okay, output. So this is a demodulator. Again, the demodulator is having a resistor and a capacitor. We can have this resistor is R3, R5, R6, sorry, C2, C1, C2, C3, sorry, C3. So here you see when the object is nearing the sensor head, more oscillations. So this oscillation is connected to demodulator stage. So the demodulator output, when the object is nearing, the demodulator starts increasing. So when as I told you earlier, when the demodulator output starts increasing. So the input to the Schmitt trigger is also increasing. The Schmitt trigger goes to level voltage. So the Schmitt trigger goes high. See, Schmitt trigger goes high. So the demodulator is decreasing. Schmitt trigger, sorry, the demodulator increasing. Schmitt trigger, this output is also increasing. Okay. So since the object is nearing the sensor head, we should generate the output, positive output. So output should be high. The basic concept behind this proximity pickup is when the sensor is near, the output should be on. When the sensor is away, the output should be off. So the on and off operation using the sensor module is designed with the help of these stages. So the object is near, the demodulator output is starts increasing, then triggering this stage is increasing. So we are having high voltage. So this high voltage output from the Schmitt trigger should bias the transistor. Now the transistor is changed. Okay. So what is here? This is PNP transistor, right? So here when the output is high, it biased, it starts conducting. So similar to that, here this is we are having a resistor here and a load resistor to decrease the current in this circuit. Okay, and we are having a protective. So the protective RTD here, RTD. This is R5, R5, R6, R6. This is RL load resistor. Because here we connect load across TA2 and TA. I will tell you why we connect here. So this is LED. It indicates the output, whether the output is on or off. So if output is off, this LED also off. So this LED is indication for this circuit. Here we use protective diode here, since this is connected to the ground circuit here. Okay, ground. So the diode direction is towards this side. So this is protective. This is the regulator, Zener regulator, Zener diode. This is Zener diode, similar to previous circuit also. Here on Zener diode, I used to tell this is the Zener diode to regulate the voltage. DZ. Similarly here, the Zener diode to regulate the voltage. DZ. This diode to prevent the negative return supply. Okay, negative supply towards the ground. So this is a transistor. Here also this transistor acts as a switch. Okay, simply switch. When the Schmitt trigger output is high, so it biasing is also high, so that there will be very high output available between T2 and T3 rather than T1 and T2. So more output available here because the collector is this side. Okay, you see in this circuit, collector is in the down. Okay, so collector, emitter is here, whereas here collector is here. So the collector output is available here. So in that case, what happened? The transistor is in off. Okay, this off position. So there won't be any voltage here. So between this and this, the high voltage is available. So we can connect the output across T2 and T3. Okay, here no output is available across this. Okay, so no output because this, since we are giving high voltage input to the transistor, high voltage input to the transistor. Okay, so but these devices, this LED is for indication. This is RTD for protection. RTD. This xenodiode for regulation. This is also for protective diode. Whereas other things are similar to that of your inductive proximity pickup switch. So major difference between this and this is this can be detected at any materials, those materials having high dielectric value. So if the dielectric constant is more than 1.2, the detection is very easy. Whereas the inductive proximity pickup sensor detects, okay, inductive proximity sensor detects mostly the ferrous materials, okay, iron type of materials, conducting materials. Okay. So again, this is the pictorial representation of the operation. This is the sensor head. This sensor head. These are all objects. Objects. Okay. So objects. These are all objects. Objects. So the various positions of object. When the object is away, there won't be any oscillation at all. So when the object is approaching the sensor head, capacitive proximity sensor head, the oscillations start increasing. Okay, oscillations start increasing here. So this is demodulator output. Demodulator output. So the demodulator starts increasing. Schmitt trigger output also increasing to high level. So this output trigger. Sorry, output across. This is across T2 and T3. T2 and T3. Whereas output across T1 and T2 is low. So this across T1 and T2. So since the output across T2 and T3 high, the output activates. So output activates across T2 and T3, T1 and T2. That is across here, the output goes low, grounded output. Here, the output is high. Understand? Understand? So you see, this is another representation of the pictorial representation. When the sensor head and objects, this is the sensor head. When the sensor head is there is no objects, then no oscillation. So it indicates that there is no target at all. So when there is no target, when there no oscillation, generated by the oscillator. So as the object is appearing near the sensor head, oscillation starts increasing. Oscillation starts increasing. Oscillation is maximum at with maximum amplitude and frequency when the object is very close, or even the object is on the sensor head. The oscillation is maximum with the oscillation is maximum with the maximum amplitude and maximum frequency. So when the object is away, starts leaving away from the sensor head, starts decreasing. So when the object, then there is no objects, stops the oscillation. Okay, this is about the inductive and capacitive proximity sensor. This is a comparison how far these two the inductive shielded, the inductive proximity. This is a simple comparison. This is the mode of different configuration, comparison of different configuration. Method of deduction. This is, you can also have mode means method of deduction. So in method of deduction, inductive shield and the inductive unshield and capacitive. So if the proximity is having inductive with the shielded sensor, configuration designed for flush mounting in the metal, available in the cylindrical and limit switch sensor shapes, limit switch shapes. Inductive, whereas here the same here, but it is available in cylindrical, limit switch and a small block and flat rectangular sensor shapes, whereas both are same. But one thing, in the inductive shield, it is safe. If any object hits the shielded inductive proximity, it is safe because it is shielded. Whereas in the unshielded type of proximity switch is easily damaged by the object. Then capacitive requires clearance around the sensor, end-to-end false signals from the surrounding mounting materials. Also in cylindrical and flat rectangular shapes, sensor probes here. Okay. The advantage of this inductive shielded type is detects iron, mild steel, stainless steel, and non-ferrous, brass, copper. This is all non-ferrous, this is all ferrous. This is ferrous material, this is all non-ferrous. Brass, copper, aluminum metals. So color and the surface conditions not affect sensing. Most cost-effective options is available with the shielded type. So this is cost-effective. The same applications are applicable for unshielded type, but the unshielded type has longer sensing distance. One more thing, this not only longer, this can be detected. The unshielded proximity pickup detects side objects, side sensitivity, the side sensitivity. Okay, the objects in, approaching sideward, inside in the sides of the sensor probe, whereas shielded detects only in the directional object. So that is bundle. Okay, in the in front, the bundle object. The shielded type can detect the small objects also, which is approaching in the, whereas the unshielded detects the large size of objects. Okay, so reduced sensing distance. The disadvantage of shielded is sensing distance is reduced. Normally 0.4 inches. 0.4 inches means 0.4 into 2.5. 1 inch is equal to 2.5 centimeter. So how much? Around 1 centimeter is the, okay. So 1 centimeter is the maximum detectable range. The unshielded can detect up to 1.75 maximum. That's why here I told this unshielded type can detect longer sensing distance. That is 1.75. Here is only 1 centimeter. Here 1.75 centimeter. In the capacitive sensor is not protected from accidental impact damage. This is the disadvantage with the capacitive proximity pickup. So also this is used for very longer distance detection of objects, that is up to 2.25 centimeter. Okay, so this is about comparison of three types of so a big question, 10 mark question consists of inductive, capacitive and comparison. Okay, understand or not? Okay, this is about proximity sensor. Any doubt? You can raise. Raise your hand. Nobody is having doubt. Thank you very much. Anybody is having doubt? Okay. The applications of these proximity sensors are liquid level sensing. Okay, liquid level sensing. So the say this is a liquid tank. You can mount this proximity sensor head over the top of the tank. So this can be connected to the module. So module consists of oscillator, demodulator, triggering stage, then output stage. So the output can be connected to load. That load is nothing but a motor. You can have a motor, or you can have a hooter, motor or hooter or sound. Let us have a hooter. Hooter is a alarm. Industrial alarm is called hooter instead of hooter. Say we can mount this setup in our home also. You can try this circuit in your home also. So you can place the proximity sensor in the top of the tank. When the water is increasing, rising, when the water nears the sensor, it detects the material, okay, the water. So once it is near to the water, this can make a sound in your home. So you can switch off the motor. Or once you are getting the signal from the module, you can make a closed loop circuit. Say once this reaches, you can switch off the motor. This can be connected to. So the similar setup is nowadays available with 4 to 20 milliampere range in digital format. So when there is no signal, 4 milliampere. So the water is very at the bottom, 4 milliampere current. So when the current is 4 milliampere generated from the circuit, so the motor should on. When the proximity sensor senses the liquid level, say reaches the high level, the setup, the output can generate 20 milliampere. So 4 to 20 milliampere signal used for the industrial applications. So the same inductive and proximity modules setup is available with available with 4 to 20 milliampere output. For a lower level, 4 milliampere output, higher level 20 milliampere output. So 4 to 20 milliampere is the industrial current sensor range, current transmitter range. Then bottle filling plant. So when the conveyor, assume this is a conveyor motor, Okay, so conveyor motor. When the bottle, a bottle filling plants. Okay, so this type of sensors can be mounted over the. So this is the proximity sensor connect with the signal conditioning circuit. This connected to, you can have a simple microcontroller, say Arduino or microcontroller. So the motor, this is the sensor. Also here you can put some load cell to detect the bottle. So when the bottle is nearing to the uh, or you can fix instead of load cell, you can fix proximity switch here. This is water flow, liquid flow. When the conveyor is rotating, when the bottle glass is on the proximity switch, the conveyor motor stops. So the moment it stops, the valve, the control valve here starts filling the bottle. Once the bottle is filled a particular level, so this can be the motor of the conveyor can start move. So when it move to another stage, the another bottle stays here. Same procedure is repeated. This is for filling plant applications. Then plastic parts directions in industries. The capacitance proximity switch is used for plastic parts. Then pallets direction, palleting, the part transferring, okay, from one place to another place, the part pallet direction. Okay, how many plates can be arranged in a rack or some other place. So this is our pallet direction. So this can be used for irregularity shaped products. So the shape, so suppose a circular, square, so these are all regular shapes. If we have some irregular shapes, we can't define the shape. So such shapes can be shape products can be used with this type of inductive proximity sensor for the industrial application. So these are all different material dielectric constant. Vacuum 1, quartz 3.5, glass 3 to 10, mica 3 to 6, mylar 3.1, neoprene, textile, polyethylene, okay, PVC 3.18, Teflon, germanium 16, strontium titanate 310, titanium oxide is 173, water 86 para, water is 80.4, glycerin 42.5, ammonia 2.5, benzene 2.284, air is approximately 180 atmospheric pressure. So under 100 atmospheric pressure 1.05. So these are all some typical values of dielectric constant. This is helpful for designing your capacitive proximity sensor.